About a month ago, Husky fans across the globe rejoiced when Husky quarterback Jake Locker announced he was coming back for his senior season. Today, the Husky standout finally spoke about his decision. There's been a heat wave across the central New York region this last week and a rise in shootings in the city of Syracuse. Across the street from Skiddy Park is the Blodgett School, where they say when the snow melts, they bring kids in early due to safety concern. Vacant housing has been an issue in the city of Syracuse for many years, but members in the home improvement organizations and officials at City Hall think that this administration is turning the corner on this issue, rebuilding homes that used to look like this and turning them into this. Josh, it was a great game today between SU and UConn. The first time these two teams have matched up since last March in that great 6 overtime game at Madison Square Garden. The fans came out and were packing the dome, and the dome was rocking. That's right, Max. We're live here at the 2010 RV show at the State Fairgrounds, and enthusiasm is high. We talked to the show manager here about that, Jim Kring, who says that everybody's coming here looking to buy. In fact, this year they saw a 116% increase in January over last year. That's according to the RV Industry Association. That's over 14,000 additional recreational vehicles from last January. And you come to the show, the best part about it is you get to go inside and out of these different RVs. But with such a complicated bill, it might be tough for Democrats to highlight the benefits of the bill to voters in November. In Washington, Collin Sullivan, WCIA 3 News. For those from the land of Lincoln, a trip to Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. is a special treat. More than 1 million people a year celebrate the history of Illinois' most outstanding figure by visiting this famous landmark. Recently, the theater incorporated a guided walking tour led by an actor playing a Civil War-era detective trying to crack the case. Ford's theater publicist, Lauren B.A., says the tour is a great opportunity to learn more about the events surrounding President Abraham Lincoln's assassination.
How was this possible? And over the course of the tour, visitors have a chance to kind of check out the assassination conspiracy as the detective uncovers it.
The tour runs from March to the end of August, and when the city starts heating up in mid-July, it can become quite the trek. For those trying to escape the heat, Ford's offers the history of the theater in the two-man show One Destiny, which takes place in the actual theater Lincoln was shot. Tourists from all over pile into the theater to see a unique reenactment of the events leading up to and after the assassination. The two actors playing multiple characters give the audience a sense of what was happening inside and out of the theater at the end of the Civil War. Theater founder John Ford is played by actor Stephen Schmidt, and he says it's a very real experience for the audience.
That the audience has not only gotten, the words and the ideas that we're giving them, but they get a sense of what it felt like to be somebody in the theater at that night.
And it gets emotionally raw near the end when the play reaches its predicted climax. So whether it's the walking tour or watching a play, Ford's Theater lets you step back in time and witness history. In Washington, Collin Sullivan, WCIA 3 News.
Snowmobiling has been a favorite pastime for people of all ages in the central New York region. Chris Zelenka has been riding a snowmobile for the last 40 years and still can't get enough.
Everybody converging, friends from all over, New York, Long Island, Pennsylvania, Maryland, you name it, coming up for the weekend, everybody hanging out.
One of the main attractions is the speed and power which provide the adrenaline riders crave. But often the price they pay has led to a growing amount of accidents, even deaths.
Speeding has been a part of the snowmobiling community since its beginning, but a subculture of drinking and riding has made it unsafe for everyone on the trails.
At events like the Brantingham, New York Winterfest, it has become customary to have a couple drinks and go riding. It is such an issue, Lewis County Deputy Sheriff Michael Leviker says they are taking every precaution.
We set up roadblocks at night, like sobriety check roadblocks. We set them up at night and make the people take off their helmets and so we can detect any alcohol on their breath and see how their speech is.
Zelenka learned his lesson 14 years ago.
Couldn't see his stop sign and what was ahead of me and crashed in T-boned in an intersection, flew 45, 50 feet. I learned my lesson back in '96 about that, and since then I've behaved.
But for some,
are you drinking or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm drinking.
Old habits die hard. From Brantingham, New York, Collin Sullivan, NCC News. Spring is in the air in Syracuse, and so is baseball. The players, media, and concessions are gearing up.
But there's another behind-the-scenes team that often gets lost in the shuffle.
1, 2, 3.
The grounds crew.
I think today was a good day so far. We got a lot of stuff done.
At the age of 24, John Stewart is the new head groundskeeper for the Chiefs. And the day before his first big test, emotions were running high.
You know, I was a little nervous to get things underway, but I felt as though the 2 years before prepared me for it. And, you know, this has been something that I've wanted to do really my entire life. So I was excited and anxious.
Stewart takes over for Wes Ganobchek, who recently moved on to Columbus. And even though this is Stewart's first year in charge, the crew is following his lead.
John treats us like friends, and so, you know, we do things for him and he does things for us, and it's a great trade-off.
He explains things very well. He gets it down, and he knows what he's doing. He knows everything. He knows where we're supposed to be. He does everything.
And everything involves more than just mowing, grooming, raking, and watering. But one thing they can't control is the weather. The day before the big opening game, rain was in the forecast.
This is the one game a year, you know, pending any playoff games, that you just got to get in. You know, you can't start the season with a rain out.
And so the crew prepares for the worst.
All right, so you want to definitely tarp tonight then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
After 6 months of a long off-season and a couple weeks of meticulous preparation, the grounds crew and team are ready for the biggest event of the year, opening day.
We got popcorn in the helmet.
Okay, game time, baby.
The crew is in charge of prepping batting practice for the teams and getting the field ready for play. Taking notice is Chiefs General Manager John Simone, who says Stewart is the right man for the job.
You know, he wouldn't be in charge if he didn't do as well as he did the last 2 years, and he has an opportunity to obviously show the county and everyone that he can handle this, and so far so good.
I do it because I love doing it, so I eventually wanted to be in this situation, so now I'm here and just trying to make the most of it.
As they put the final touches on the field and pass on the game to the players, Stewart and his team anxiously wait to hear feedback.
The players at this level of baseball are used to playing on, you know, high-quality surfaces, so if they don't complain, that we take that as a compliment.
And since opening day, silence has been golden for John Stewart. At Alliance Bank Stadium, Collin Sullivan, NCC News. So, Senator, a big day in the House, big day in the Senate yesterday for the unemployment extender bill. And he says things have gotten so bad, extreme measures may be next. The issue is local farmers are selling milk for less than it costs to produce to distributors like Byrne Dairy. Fitch and other dairy farmers in the area have visited Washington, D.C. to push for legislation that would offset the losses that are putting the farmers into debt. Fitch says if the government enforced a minimum cost of milk from the farmers to the distributors, then the farmers could break even or even make a profit. Right now, distributors are having no problem making profit because of how cheap they are buying the milk for. Fitch says the only way to get everyone's attention is to make it so there's no milk for the distributors to buy. In the NFL today, the two conference champions were crowned, and what a day it was. In the AFC, the Colts, led by Peyton Manning, were taking on the Jets and quarterback Mark Sanchez in Indianapolis, the winner punching their ticket to Miami and Super Bowl 44. Someone drove a car into the Oswego River earlier today. It happened on the east side of the river between the Fulton bridges. Fulton police and the Oswego County dive team responded and were able to pull the person from the vehicle. And Oswego County 911 has reported the person is okay. Thank you, Ashley. Onondaga Lake is usually a nice, quiet place to enjoy a summer afternoon, but we'll show you why the lake wasn't anything but peaceful last weekend.